in Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? Let's proclaim the greatest radio show.
Welcome, fans, to another episode of The Spread. I'm your host, Jim Sella, in studio with J-Dash and JK47. We got some more fantasy football coming at you. Mad fantasy this week. Most fantasy drafts are coming up. You need to know who the sleepers are. We got them for you. Numbers 176 to 200 here, Dash. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's get this one done quick. Number 176, we're going to go with Kenny Britt, wide receiver
Should
from
be
St.
number
Louis.
10.
Listen, he is listed as one of the starting two receivers out there still. I think Stedman, Bailey, and Brian Quick are still the better options to have out there. But Nick Foles is out there. He'll decide himself who his favorite target is. Maybe it's Kenny Britt. And listen, he led the team last year with 748 yards, although he only found the end zone 3 times. But they got a better quarterback this year, like I said, in Nick Foles. So who knows? Maybe Kenny Britt steps up and has a big season. Number 177, Percy Harvin,
Garbage.
Wide receiver from Buffalo. He was with, the Jets last season. He was with Seattle for a little bit too, maybe.
Yeah.
Got traded to the Jets. They got Sammy Watkins out there as the number 1. They're saying Percy Harvin's the number 2. They got Robert Woods out there as well, who I like. Chris Hogan, too. Remember Hogan?
Brother.
Yeah, you love that guy. But Percy Harvin, I'm not as high on him as I used to be. I mean, he still has upside. He's not going to be kick returning, punt returning too much. I hope not anyways.
Dude,
I mean,
his
this
hips
guy...
blasted.
Yeah, his hips blasted, exactly. So, I mean, there's a lot of downside here, but there is the little bit of upside. I mean, he's still starting, but not a great quarterback either. So, that's why I have him so low here. Number 178, Harry Douglas. Maybe this guy steps up and becomes the number 1 wide receiver for Tennessee. Who knows? I mean, they got Kendall Wright out there. Dorial Green-Beckham, it looks like it might take him a little bit of time. He's not 100% healthy. So maybe Harry Douglas shows what he showed in Atlanta. I mean, in Atlanta, he had some big games, but I'm not 100% trusting him.
He has a 1,000-yard receiving year, doesn't he?
I'm not quite sure on that, man.
Harry Douglas?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he has one.
He might, man.
So, I mean, he did play well for a while.
I mean, yeah, he had huge games, I remember, too, when Atlanta was struggling at receiver with injuries between White and Julio Jones. I mean, this guy can come up big. Is Mariota going to be able to get him the ball? Is he going to be the number 1 receiver? Is he going to be the number 3 receiver by the end of the season? Who knows? Number 179, I guess this is a sleeper. Jalen Strong, wide receiver from Houston. They got DeAndre Hopkins as the number 1. Cecil Shorts as the number 2. But behind that, I mean, there really isn't much out there. They drafted this guy pretty high in the draft, so there's his upside. I mean, they need someone else to step up and be good out there. Bobby Hoyer, quarterback, Brian Hoyer, whatever it is.
He's a big-bodied receiver, isn't he?
Yeah, Jalen Strong.
Somebody who can go up and get the football.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely has upside. There's just the fact that, I mean, you got DeAndre Hopkins out there. I really like that guy. I don't see them producing too many 1,000-yard receivers out there, especially 2 in the same offense with Brian Hoyer running a quarterback. But who knows? Jalen Strong could come up and be a good play this season. Who knows? Number 180, Antonio Andrews, running back from Tennessee. He's 5'10", 225 pounds. They got Bishop Sankey out there and David Cobb out there. One of those guys look like they could take the starting job, but I'm not sleeping on Antonio Andrews either. I mean, this guy could end up taking that job out there. Until somebody shows that they deserve the job, it's up for grabs in my opinion. I mean, the one guy that isn't going to take the job is Duckster McCluckster.
Oh, Duck McCluck.
Yeah, he's not a starting running back, but I mean, it could be Sankey, it could be Cobb. Who knows? It could be Antonio Andrews. So, I mean, I'm taking him here. If it turns out Antonio Andrews isn't involved in the offense, I drop him and grab something else.
Grab the next guy.
Yep, number 181, Ruben Randall, wide receiver from the Giants.
This is a guy I like as a sleeper.
Yeah, I mean, I like him too. Here's the problem, though. They have Odell Beckham Jr. out there. Victor Cruz is coming back healthy. So there's their 1 and 2. And last season, I mean, Ruben Randall was a pretty good receiver early in the year. And then he sort of fell off a little bit. And I wouldn't say he was in the doghouse with the coaches, but they stopped playing him later in the season. Preston Parker was a guy that stepped up in that role and started taking playing time away from Ruben Randall. And they brought in James Jones this season as well. So there's a lot of questions of whether they're going to give Ruben Randall the chance again. But I always like this guy, especially as the number 3 receiver in the slot. He can put up big games for you. It's just, is it going to happen this season, or are they about done with this guy? All right, real quick, I'm just going to go through some defenses here. Number 182 through 187. We're not going to go over the defenses. I'm just going to spit them out and tell you the order I drafted them. How many did we do so far? 6, I believe it was.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was the Texans, the Seahawks, obviously, the Jets, the Bills, the Dolphins, and the Rams. So they're, what, 6, 7?
6, I believe.
6 defenses? Okay, so I'd go in this order next when you're going to grab a defense. The Carolina Panthers defense.
Luke Kuechly, stud.
Yeah, they were actually pretty good last year. Carolina, I mean, they did make the playoffs, but they struggled a lot offensively. Defensively, they were pretty good. Cincinnati Bengals next. I mean, they have a lot of upside in their defense as well. Number 1 picks at corner? Both of them?
Listen, the Bengals defense before the Steelers defense.
Got to do it, man. Number 184. This is just fantasy, man. It doesn't mean anything about wins. Calm down. Number 184, Arizona Cardinals defense. They let up a lot of yards last season, but they were also very, very hard to score on. And I think they're going to be a pretty good defense this year as well. So I would be happy to have Arizona Cardinals defense in fantasy. Number 185, Green Bay Packers defense. They always come up as a top 12 defense by the end of the season. They're a pretty good defense to have. Denver Broncos defense is another one of those defenses that always seem to end up towards the bottom of the top 12, if not better, by the end of the season. And then same thing with number 187, the New England Patriots defense. I mean,
aptly numbered 187 for the New England Patriots. I like that.
Yeah, but I mean, they have very good linebackers, no doubt, but they have a lot of questions on their defense too. But really, out there, I mean, New England, they always end up being one of the mid to better defenses in the NFL.
Yeah, I usually end up picking them up at some point in the season because they're a good matchup.
But really, I mean, it's so hard to tell with defense. That's why you don't draft unless you know they're going to be a beast defense. You don't draft them until the very end of the draft because chances are you're going to drop them 2-3 weeks into the season anyway when they go up against the Indianapolis Colts or something. You know what I mean? But number 188, Ben Watson, tight end from New Orleans. We talked about Josh Hill before. A lot of people think Ben Watson is the better tight end to have in New Orleans. But like I said, this guy didn't do much last year. He's very old. Josh Hill's younger. Like, Jimmy Graham's gone. So one of these two are going to step up. That's why I draft Ben Watson at the very, very end of a, 12, 16-team league. But I really don't trust Ben Watson. I think Josh Hill's the guy to have. But, I mean, the upside's there because Ben Watson is listed as the starter. And Drew Brees throws the ball around. Number 189, Robert Turbin, running back from Seattle. Really, the upside here, he's Marshawn Lynch's backup. If anything would happen to Lynch, you got a good, not necessarily a good running back, but someone that's in a good system and can put up yards in that system, I believe.
Believe it.
Number 190, Kerry Robinson, running back from New Orleans. They have Mark Ingram out there. They brought in C.J. Spiller, lost Pierre Thomas. We'll have to see. I mean, Spiller's not a guy that I was always high on. He always has some kind of injury risk with him, so who knows? Kerry Robinson could step in if Spiller got hurt or whatnot, and if Mark Ingram got hurt, Kerry Robinson would step into a bigger role. But he's still going to be somewhat involved in this offense because he showed it last year, even with multiple running backs in that backfield, that he was a part of it. Number 191, Damian Williams, running back from Miami. Now, this depends on Lamar Miller, really. This is a guy that I wouldn't say he's injury prone or anything, but you could definitely see Lamar Miller getting injured as well. And Damian Williams is probably the second back in this system right now. I mean, Jay Ajayi, they drafted this year. He could eventually take that role and maybe turn it into a starting role. Who knows? But Damian Williams, if anything happened to Miller, and Williams, I mean, he'll be involved in this offense as well. I don't see big things out of him, though. Number 192, Lance Dunbar, running back from Dallas. They have Joseph Randle out there. He's a guy I like, but he's also a question mark. Darren McFadden, I don't know if he's a question mark or you know exactly what you're going to get, and that's pretty much nothing. So, if Randall and McFadden don't run away with this job, Lance Dunbar is going to get some playing time, and who knows? Maybe he runs away with the job. You never know. So
Dallas has got a good line,
man. Bit of a
so,
sleeper right there.
If you know how to hit the hole in that system, you're going to at least succeed a little bit.
Number 193, Marvin Jones, wide receiver from Cincinnati.
He could do better than this, too. He's a guy I could see having a big year if he learns how to catch a little better.
Well, listen, they have Mohamed Sanu out there, too, who is a pretty good receiver. He can't catch the ball very well either. But Marvin Jones, I mean, he's listed as the number 2 wide receiver in Cincinnati right now. So he got the upside. He's going to be in a pretty good offense.
A.J. Green gets double covered, man. So this dude's going to only have to beat single coverage most of the time at least.
Tyler Eifert. Number 194, Ty Montgomery, wide receiver from Green Bay. We mentioned Jeff Janis in, what was it, the last segment, the segment before, I don't know, I can't remember. But Jeff Janis is supposed to be the guy that steps in with Jordy Nelson hurt for the season, but it could also be Miles White or this guy, Ty Montgomery. Montgomery is the secondary option behind Jeff Janis to take that role, but he is a rookie, so there's the chance that he ends up being that number 3 receiver. I'll take the chance at number 194. Number 195, Jonathan Grimes, running back.
He's related to Rick Grimes, so you know he's tough.
From Houston. Obviously, Arian Foster is hurt to begin the season. Alfred Blue should be the starting running back, but if he doesn't work out, Jonathan Grimes, I mean, Grimes should definitely get some playing time as well while Arian Foster is out. It's not like Blue's going to get every single carry while Foster's out, but I also hear Arian Foster is doing a lot better than expected and could miss as little as 2 games. So I actually redid the rankings, and Arian Foster's higher on my list now, and we're actually doing a segment after this where we go over injury updates, value picks, and sleepers, and I'll tell you about Arian Foster and that. But Jonathan Grimes, he should get some playing time early with Foster out, and who knows, maybe take even more playing time if Blue doesn't pan out. Number 196, Moneyball, running back from Denver. You said he might not even be on this team.
After next year. He'll be here this year.
Oh, okay, I see.
But
I didn't hear that part
Yeah.
of it. All right. Well, C.J. Anderson, he's a beast. If he stays healthy, he's going to get most of the carries. But, I mean, somebody else is going to get carries. That's probably going to be Ronnie Hillman. But Moneyball, I mean, whoever is starting in his backfield is going to have big games for you, I believe. I think Denver's offense is going to be very good again, and their run game is going to be good again. And whoever it is, I mean, it always seems like someone's hurt in that backfield, and everybody gets their chance at some point during the season. Now, if you go through 2 games and it doesn't look like Ball's doing anything in the offense and he looks like the 3rd running back, maybe you find something and drop him and pick something else up.
The thing I'm hearing about Monty is he doesn't hit the hole very well. He doesn't have the greatest vision. He was more of a straight-ahead runner in college, and he was able to power through most of the defenders. He just needs to work on that a little bit, work on getting the cutback lanes, and then he should be able to succeed. But Denver's backfield's filling up. That's why they're just kind of maybe moving on from Ball after the year.
Number 197, Stephen Ridley, running back from the Jets. If this guy was healthy, I'd say he'd be the best running back to have in New York. I'm not even quite sure about that. I never was really high on Stephen Ridley, but he showed his moments in New England, and if he can come back healthy at any point early in the season, this could be somewhat of a steal if he takes over the starting role in New York, but I'm not trusting it to draft him too much higher than late in the draft. Number 198, Jay Cutler, quarterback from Chicago. We know he has options out there. Of course, Kevin White got hurt for the season. Well, maybe not for the season. What is it, 6 weeks to the season? Who knows? Something like that. But you still got Elshon Jeffrey out there. Mortellus Bennett's out there. They brought in Eddie Royal, who Jay Cutler has worked with before and worked well with. So, I mean, he has a little bit of upside, but this guy's very inconsistent. I like the players they put around him because he can make them successful. But he's a choke artist, I want to say, Jay Cutler.
Yes, garbage.
Crybaby, maybe.
Yeah, I like Crybaby too.
Number 199, Colin Kaepernick, San Francisco's quarterback. He had a terrible season last year. 19 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 3,369 yards, although he did run for 639 yards. So this is somewhat of a sleeper. I mean, if you grab this guy late in the draft and he turns into what he was 2 years ago, you have an excellent quarterback on your hands. I don't believe it's going to happen, but the upside is there, so you might as well take a chance on him late if you're looking for another quarterback. And number 200, Lorenzo Taliaferro, running back from Baltimore. I said before, I mean, Justin Forsett, he had a very good season last year, and that was his only good season in his career. He's not a young guy anymore, so who knows if Forsett doesn't repeat what he does last season, Lorenzo Taliaferro could step in and play a big role for Baltimore. I mean, I expect Justin Forsett to be the main guy and put up a good season. Maybe not quite as good as last year, but if he fails in any way, maybe Lorenzo Taliaferro is that guy.
Why not? Number 200. If you're still drafting at 200 players, man, Your league's too much for me.
Well, listen, in a 16-team league, 16 picks, what's 16 times 16?
More than 200.
Please believe.
196.
256.
Oh, 256.
Yeah, so
I
if
don't
you're in
wanna
a
be in a league that
16-team
long.
league, I didn't even help you out here at the end.
If you're in a 16-team league, don't come asking me to join it because that draft would probably take 5
I mean, if you're going
hours.
to go anything after that, James White, running back from New England, Dree Archer might show something early on with a lot of people out. Bell suspended, Bryant suspended. He's going to get an opportunity early. Plus, he's going to be the main punt returner and the main kick returner, from what
Till he
Tomlin
loses
says.
that job again.
Yeah, it's possible. I think he's going to have a beast season. I think this guy's going to be a stud, actually, man. But, I mean, he's only going to get so many touches in the offense, so he's not going to give you huge numbers for
I'll
fantasy.
put my beast linebackers up against Dree Archer any day.
You do that, man. I'm telling you, you're going to have a different opinion on Dree Archer by the end of the season. Jeremy Langford, running back from Chicago, if anything happened to Forte. Theo Riddick out there in Detroit. If Amir Abdullah doesn't turn out to what people hope he is and Joey Bell doesn't come back healthy. There's a lot of guys here. Baltimore's defense, Detroit's defense. Let's not forget, Detroit's defense was one of the best in the league last year. They lost a lot, though. Well, still take a chance on them past number 200 here. Why not? That's about it, though, man.
That's all we got for you today, folks. You can follow us on Twitter at bet_the_spread. You can follow me on Twitter at betjimthewin. If you want to hate on Dash, hit us up on Facebook at facebook.com/betthespread. Keep coming back to YouTube. Keep clicking subscribe. Love fantasy football. 16-team leagues are beat.